Today, let's assemble the best keyboard we can for $200 worth of parts that were all sourced from Amazon. You can't start a keyboard build without a keyboard, and today we're using the GMMK 10 keyless bare bones edition board. It's not the highest end board in the world, but you can get these for fantastic deals online, and I think this is a good starting point. $60 for everything you get in this kit is crazy good. Plus, personally, I think that 10 keyless is the best sort of overall mechanical keyboard if you are just starting out with custom keyboards. In the box, we get the kit, which has the PCB, top plate, and a tiny piece of foam between the parts smushed together. We also get a keycap puller and a USB-A to USB-C cable. One huge benefit of this GMMK board is it's hot swappable, so sorry desolderer, no fun for you this week. For switches, I decided to go with the MX Reds to get that nice linear sound. I'm not much of a gamer, and I prefer a quieter keyboard, and crap, I'm just realizing this right now. To stay within the price limits of this build, we ordered bare switches and we'll need to lube these ourselves. Hooray. For keycaps, I went with a knockoff brand Apollo Aerospace PBT keycaps. If you know anything about me, I prefer a more subdued color schema, and I think these look fantastic. The rest we'll get to as we build. Step 1 will be to disassemble and customize the case itself just a little bit. I think standard black keyboards are super boring, plus it's really hard to make them stand out in thumbnails, wink wink. After we take the board apart, we'll move it over to the high-tech and professionally managed spray paint area, consisting of no less than 2 high-quality cardboard containment devices, where we'll be giving it 3 coats of matte white paint. During our spray painting session, the wind decided to kick up, and I gotta say, it's always windy here, and the paint did kind of get all over the place, and this will absolutely be my last time painting outside. We'll also only be doing the top plate for customization because I love a two-tone keyboard, and the bottom of the case doesn't have as much room for customization, so it kind of gets cut off from that. Next up, let's start lubing all the switches. If you are new to keyboards, I find that switch lubing is one of those arcane processes that scares folks away, but despite 20 and 30-minute YouTube videos on the topic, I find this pretty simple, and you shouldn't be scared that this will take like 12 or 13 hours a pop. These are mechanical systems. It is called a mechanical keyboard. You need to lube where there is friction if you want the best operation. I simply put a consistent coat on the stems themselves because that's the moving part of the switch. If you get a quality coat on here, this should quasi self-lube the interior of the switch. I also put a healthy dose on the spring for the same reasons. Sure, there are a ton of ways to do this with everybody having their own take. This is just my philosophy. Also, for the first time ever, I'll be adding some film to these switches. Film is just a small piece of plastic that goes in between the top and the bottom of the housings, which should hopefully reduce wobble a little bit more. For the case, I was planning on doing a silicone pour to add some additional density and reduce the hollowness that you sometimes get with plastic shells, but like I said, there just isn't that much room in the bottom of the case to allow for a lot of material. Plus, it already has some decent weights in it, so I think we'll just end up doing the standard tape mod and add a few layers of gaffer's tape to make sure it's just a little more dense. Now that we've got the case itself taken care of, the top plate is now also dry and back from its painting, so let's work on the stabilizers. Yes, these stabilizers came pre-lubed from the factory, and you don't exactly need to work on them, but stabilizers are the one part of the keyboard that you've got to get right if you want it to sound its best. So we'll wipe off all the rest of that included lube, and we'll do the rest ourselves while also putting a healthy layer of dielectric grease on the bars. Should come out sounding really nice. As we reassemble the PCB and plate before final assembly, and add a piece of pre-purchased pre-cut foam in between the two to again give a little more density and reduce any wobble or extra noises around the keyboard. Okay, and we're back. We've got everything installed, ready to go, so let's assemble this keyboard. Now, the one thing I do want to mention is you absolutely saw some B-roll of this foam getting installed previously. However, I don't know, I really wanted this to work so we could add a little more density to the board itself, but trying to fit this in between the foam that was already installed, the tape mod, and all the other pieces of the keyboard, it didn't work, so no, we did not include this. But I do think this turned out really good. You heard me say this earlier in the video, I love two-tone keyboards. I think the matte white against the matte black looks really good. The paint did get scuffed up a little bit, as you saw. It was very windy, but I'm really pleased with how this turned out. So, all right, let's get all of these switches in. Now, I am kind of nervous. One of the things I noticed installing these is with the 3 layers of paint on this specific board, it was kind of hard to get all of the switches in. Can you see that? My thumb My thumb really hurts now, so hopefully nothing's damaged and this will work as we wanted. Let's go ahead and get all of these cool looking keycaps on. Team, I don't mean to oversell this, but this might be my favorite looking keyboard that we've ever made. Yes, I've liked all the keyboards, but like I said, I'm more of a subdued person, and I love how this looks. I think this looks very Space EE-ish, but I'm kind of nervous with how much force I had to use to get the switches in on whether this thing even works at all, so let's check that out. Okay, so we have a keyboard tester up. Let's just make sure that everything's working. Escape. Okay, well, F11 works, but it's like closing the screen, so we can't see that it works there so far. Okay, hey, hooray! All of the keys work. That's so exciting. Sometimes I get nervous that maybe I broke it, because I'm learning a lot of this stuff as we go along. So no, I love how this looks now. Let's see how this sounds. But this might be the best sounding keyboard we've ever made too. And it didn't cost that much money. This might be replacing my big GMMK Pro as my main keyboard because I'm really happy about this. And if you like this video, I bet you would like to see a way to do this a little more economically by upgrading a $25 keyboard. And you can find that by clicking right here. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.